Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dr. Velma Talks Dating, Relationships, and Marriage. It's a conversation with me, your host, Dr. Velma Bagby. I am a media personality, podcast host of Dr. Velma Talks, Finding Your Voice podcast, and I'm a co host of Words I Choose to Live By, which is returning next month. Tomorrow is August 1st. Woohoo! I'm a best selling Christian author. I'm a certified dating and relationship coach, an ordained minister. I'm a professional speaker and a woman who's been blessed to be married 50 plus years. So let's do a deep dive. Season two, it's all about conducting a SWOT analysis on four of the female characters in the book because these are relatable characters and the mistakes they made are relatable as well. And this episode is the last of the female SWOT analysis. And guess what? Next Saturday begins the SWOT analysis of the men who made wrong choices. So tell the guys, and even the women want to hear what we have to say concerning some of the characters they dated. So this is exciting. I've been enjoying all of this. And let me remind you what the SWOT analysis is. Let me remind you that these characters are coming from the nonfiction book, but in the nonfiction book, the Catch series, they're all relatable issues and challenges that men and women face every day. Here's what we're doing in the SWOT analysis. You can do this yourself, and I'm going to describe how you can do this at the end of season two. So you can try this as well. You can also do a SWOT analysis on someone you're dating right now, and I'll tell you how at the end of this episode. So, SWOT stands for S, strengths, W, weaknesses, O, opportunities, T, threats. The strengths are those positive attributes that you have, your qualities. Those are the things that we look at in your strength. Weaknesses, the SWOT analysis looks at where you can improve, where your vulnerabilities are, where your challenges are in your relationship decisions. Opportunities, these are areas where you can improve, factors that you can use to move forward and move past. Really having not a not so good experience. And then the threats. These are the causes of the problems, and you definitely want to know what those are and do a deep dive so that you can see what negative influences are conflicting issues are causing you to have poor choices in your dates and your mates. So, SWOT analysis today, we're going back and we're looking at one character that's called the Pufferfish, and we'll see why this woman chose him. And if you look at the story, she was mesmerized the moment this guy walked into the office by his dress, the type of suit he had on, the way he looked. He looked like he had money, he walked money, he wore money. And that was all she was concerned about was that financial stability. But you got to be careful because there's a lot of narcissistic characters in the book, and you want to be aware. And many of the guys who fit the pufferfish are narcissistic, and that's what the pufferfish is. So let's look. Here are the strengths in this SWOT analysis. This is the woman who only chooses a mate based on his looks and financial status. And that's why in the book, Pastor Greyson, the main character, talks about looks as a condition, finances as a condition, because many of those things can change and flip at any moment. So if you put your emphasis on just that, then you're going to be disappointed because those are not, I call them in the book, I call them conditions. But what you should be focused on are qualities of that person, and that's beyond finances. Qualities of that person is beyond their looks. So you can get caught up in the wrong kind of fish, the wrong kind of mate, just looking at what they look like, because that will always fool you. But you want to seek quality. And let's go into details. So, the strength about um, this woman who sought only this person or a person who looked good and had money. So, her strength, she has the desire for stability and attractiveness. Yeah, that may be the fact, but is that the only thing she should be looking for? Of course not. She valued material security. That will not last. I'm sorry, it will not last because any of those things can flip at any time. Those are conditions. She valued his physical appeal. And I always encourage women not to fall in love with what you see. Make sure you get a chance to fall in love with what you discover. What is good about the person? What are the qualities? His love of God. He's a man of faith. He's a man of prayer. He believes in covering. He believes in protecting. All of those qualities that you get to know over time. Stop falling in love with what you see. You don't know if he's if he's coming after you or if he's on the wanted list. You don't know. But make sure you take the time to discover the qualities of the person. So again, her strengths. She's ambitious and goal oriented. She's got that kind of mindset, but does that matter when choosing a mate? That's why she's prioritizing financial status as an important part of her decision. Her strengths, awareness of her personal preferences. She knows what she wants, she knows what she's attracted to, but isn't important. It's not a priority. So those, although may be seen as strengths on one hand, and when it comes to a relationship, they're not strengths at all. Here are the weaknesses. Superficial judgments. She made a decision solely based on his appearance and his wealth. She did not seek to look at his qualities at all. She overlooked important qualities such as what about his character? What about his values? Compatibility. Aren't those important? That's what you fall in love with, not what you see on the outside. Because look, over time, conditions change. The man's physical appearance will change in 10 to 20 years. So if you count on that as a factor, what happens when that's gone? Or maybe he becomes disabled, or and you don't see those anymore. Those are no longer important, important things that you should pursue. Here are other weaknesses. Her lack of emotional connection. She won't have it with this guy. Most narcissists don't know anything about being emotional. So the relationship is based on mainly external factors, and we can see this many times over and over. We've seen it on the news over and over. We've seen it on people and other people we've witnessed who fall for these kind of relationships and they're not based on solid criteria. And I want you to understand that in all of these cases, what Pastor Greyson in the story wanted the women to see is none of them sought God. They just based their decisions based on some really loose criteria, and that's not what we want to do. You're talking about building a lifelong marriage with this person, so you don't want to spend a lot of time wasting your time on someone who doesn't meet the criteria. So you must analyze, you must look at, you must examine the heart of that person and stop falling in love with what you see. Wait to fall in love with the characteristics and qualities of that person. So she had a lack of emotional connection. That's a weakness. She looked at external factors. Nothing in depth, nothing she can trust, no genuine intimacy at all. She had a short term focus. That's a weakness. She looked at what's short term. Money can be here today and gone tomorrow. Then what? No longer married? So, again, those are things that are fluid and can move and change over time. And not only that, going down this road will set her up for potential disappointment because those external factors change constantly. Finances change, conditions, they fluctuate, leading to instability. So what she thought was stable and for sure not won't happen, not with finances. Those are conditions. Then there's the opportunities. Self-reflection and growth. There's an opportunity for her to really kind of assess why she's making these decisions and learn why she values these things over character and an integrity of the person. There's no emotional capability, and it can lead to healthier and more fulfilling relationships if you just take a look at why she's doing what she's doing. She wants to grow from this. So, and self reflection is important. Her own personal development, she can focus on that as well. Being aware, self awareness, determine why. Is her love tank empty? Is there a shortcoming there in terms of what she sees should be true love? And so, building aware of self awareness and what truly matters in a partner can improve her relationship satisfaction. Therapy or coaching. Although I'm a dating and relationship coach, I know some wonderful therapists who would be happy to talk to individuals. So to explore underlying beliefs about worth and success and the beauty of faith and connectability and understanding your worth and knowing what poor choices can do, but improve upon that so that you can begin to make better choices. So sometimes it may mean you have to sit down with a counselor or a therapist to get past some of these shortcomings. Expanding your relationship criteria, that's an opportunity. And that's called, and basically what you're doing is developing a more holistic view of what is a best match for you. What things should you be considering? His character, man of faith, man of prayer. I mentioned some of them. These are things she never even looked at. She just wanted to capture this guy and marry him because of his financial status. Do you have shared values? Do you both believe in God? Do you believe you have the same faith? You got to make sure you're doing the work to ensure that this is a compatible match. And if it isn't, you need to move on. So stop wasting time on things like this that do not matter. That's even in the book where Pastor Greyson tells the women, stop wasting time. It doesn't take, and he uses the 40-day rule. It doesn't take 2 and 3 years for you to realize this unless you're just mesmerized like this woman is on what you see, the external factors. Here are the threats. Superficial relationships. That's what she's going to have. Superficial. The increased risk of forming relationships that are unfulfilling. And guess what? It's called a transactional relationship. This is a transact, not, not a covenant. We just making a transaction. Ching ching. Okay, done, sold. Vulnerability and manipulation. So she could be vulnerable to being manipulated by this person, which in the story, this woman was. And so her partners with financial motives or superficial qualities can be taken advantage of. Relationship instability. External factors, looks, or wealth can change. I said that earlier. These are conditions. Conditions change over time. Remember, ladies, your list of what you would like to find in a man should not be a condition. There should be qualities in his characteristics, quality characteristics, what you find about him, what you discover about him. Those are the things you want to fall in love with, not what he looks like, not the type of job he has, not even his age. What are the qualities? Fall in love with what you discover. And so, emotional dissatisfaction. Over time, external qualities or conditions will not provide emotional support. They will not provide you with the connection you need. And notice there's nothing about love and anything concerning this list. Love does not even exist in this, and nothing about God. So, SWOT analysis shows about this particular character that valuing looks and looking at money or financial status mm, can have some practical benefits, but they're superficial qualities. We're not looking for superficial qualities. We're looking for sincere qualities that matter. And so this will hinder forming a deep and meaningful relationship. The opportunities we discuss lie in developing a broader view in her faith, the character and shared values in that person, and then giving yourself the ability to establish a genuine relationship. Then there's the threats. Hmm. Those involved the risk of superficial and unstable relationship, contractual relationships that might not meet and will not meet your emotional needs. Long term, you're going to feel like a dry turnip. I was going to say tuna, but a turnip, dry turnip, because you won't be getting any. And so eventually it will deplete what you thought you could receive. So, using this framework, the individual can reflect on truly what matters in a partner and look towards establishing a balanced, fulfilling relationship in their choices. That's the pufferfish's analysis. Now, here's what I want to tell you. I want you to take the time and come up with what you feel are some of the things that you've developed, you've found out about yourself in the first four episodes of Dr. Velma Talks. If you were able to pick out some things that stood out to you, but conduct your own SWOT analysis. Just use Chat GPT. Put in what the things are that you've discovered and ask it to do a SWOT analysis on you or do a SWOT analysis on the person you're dating. List the things that you've discovered about them and find out if it's quality or not. You have tools available to you, but you can always talk to a coach or sign up to talk with psychologists. Any one of those things will work, but make sure you have conversation around this. These are sincere and very serious situations. So although my SWOT analysis sound fun and I'm enjoying every bit of it, but you want to make sure that you take this serious. Some people assume that just because these stories are in a fictional book, they don't realize that many of these stories are real and many of them have happened over and over and over and again. But take the time to discover what you need to see in it. So, any one of the books in the SWOT series will help you. At least the first three books, the last two are nonfiction, the first three are fiction. So, in closing, for those of you who are watching, I hope you post your comments when you hear or see this, or even go back to replay it once it airs. Make sure you address them. If you're listening by radio, you can send your comments to my email address, Adonai, Adoni, publishing as one word, Adonai publishing at gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how you enjoyed these first four episodes, the SWOT analysis on the wrong men to date and the challenges the women had. And because the SWOT analysis were not on the actual men she dated, but really it was why she did what she did. So make sure you leave your comments and let me know. You can also listen in on YouTube. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can set it up so that it reminds you when either one of my episodes from my podcast airs. I will be doing a few additional Finding Your Voice episodes as special editions, so make sure you tune in for that. But this is a segment four. So I promised you four SWOT analysis of female characters in the book. Next week, next Saturday, we'll begin with the male characters. Ooh, that's the blue book, book number three. Why did the men choose incorrectly? I thank you for listening and I appreciate your time. This is Dr. Velma um, at Dr. Velma Talks. If you want to reach out to me, also, I gave you my email address. You can also reach out to me on my website, drvelma.com. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate your support. Take care.